Hi everyone, I'm Lewis. I work within the partnerships team here at NMPI, and welcome to the first part in a series of conversations we're having to better understand where performance marketing is, where it's going, and what businesses can do about it. This week we're looking at Google Shopping, so I'm joined by our Head of Product Development, Fred Maude. Hi Fred.
Hello, and hello everyone. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. We're going to jump straight into a few questions, obviously talking about shopping. It seems to be either incredibly easy or incredibly complex, depending upon who you talk to. Can you explain why that is?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, I think if you're looking at shopping in general and you don't think it's complex or you think it's easy, then I reckon it's a case of ignorant bliss. It can be hugely complex, and there is a huge number of factors that go into your campaigns. Obviously, you have the bidding, the actual structure of the campaigns and how you set them up, and also your feed data is hugely important, as well as if you're actually looking at individual product performance, then actually how you set those prices and how price competitive you are a huge factor in it. Saying that, campaign setup in itself, and this is probably why people think it can be easy, because campaign setup in itself can be very simple. You can use smart shopping, but obviously if you're using smart shopping in Google, then you're limiting the control you have, and you're limiting the amount of data that you get back. So you don't get search terms back, and you don't get the chance to set your bids for individual products. So it can be simple. However, at the other end, you can make your campaigns really, really complex, and you can go for item level bidding. So that would be every single product you set its own individual bid for, and you can get even more complex and add them into individual ad groups. Obviously, on that end, this is a complex task for your account managers to manage, and it's likely that we're moving away from a world where that's even going to be possible in the future. So your focus should be quite strongly on your feed data at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll talk about that, I think, in the later session. Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. So I suppose the question off the back of that is, out of all those different approaches you just spoke about, which is best from your experience?
I think if I take you back maybe even 5 years, maybe even 4 years, I think when I started out getting very, very focused on shopping and Google Shopping, my focus was to develop a strategy that was going to work 100% for absolutely everyone. As it's transpired over time, it's become evident that it's very much like horses for courses, and you've really got to look at your client and understand exactly what they're trying to achieve and exactly what their data has to offer. And then from there to pick the correct setup. I would still say, perhaps controversial, but I would still say that if you have under 1,000 products in your feed, you should be looking to do item level bidding. It's possible for account managers to manage that quite easily, and also offers you that level of granularity that will mean that you have almost full control over your product feed. As you start getting more and more items in there, then you should start to look more towards, well, first of all, custom labeling. You want to make sure that everything in your feed that could split performance, so whether that is how they're performing site-wide, the margin maybe, you might want to also look at other aspects around stock levels and splitting custom labels out by different categories in the feed. Whatever you can do to basically push granular setup into your feed that isn't quite item level bidding, that's going to help. And as you get bigger and bigger, you really need to start looking towards Google's automation products. So, I mean, ATB can really help, which is Search Ads 360 automation.
Okay, so the answer is it very much depends upon your circumstances.
Depends on your circumstances. Look at the number of products. I would say that's quite often the steer I would take. For a large feed, you have to go more bucketed and more automation, and for a smaller feed, you can go item level.
Understood. So to move away from Google specifically, what are other ways in which businesses can be using a product feed to improve, overall product performance that they may be overlooking?
Yeah, to start with, like the product feeds go out everywhere. Obviously, like the one that a lot of people talk about is Google Shopping, but you've got your affiliate networks, you've got Facebook, you can Pinterest feeds. Effectively, there's a huge number of feeds, and we'll send them out to, I think currently just 25, 30 different partners. So there's a huge array of different places we can be sending data. It's important to bear that in mind. Most people are actually standardizing feed setups to Google Shopping. So it's literally every week now I hear of another partner switching over to Google Shopping format. That makes our jobs a little easier because it means that we don't have to keep formatting each feed slightly differently. However, in different networks or sorry, different affiliate networks to other third parties, whether it's Google Shopping, you will want to send slightly different data, slightly different formats of data, and it's important that you get that right because not all areas are going to behave exactly the same. So your goal should be to make sure that you are sending the right data to the right network. Now, the other side to this is that you need to make sure that you've got all your business data within your feed as well, so you can actually make decisions. So, do you want to send your really low margin products to affiliate networks? If it's under 10% and your base CPA is 10%, maybe not a good idea. So it's making decisions like that and doing it on an automated basis from your product feed. And that's really what you've got to focus on when it comes to your product data.
Really interesting. Well, thank you very much, Fred. Next time we'll be looking at the direction shopping is going for Google, whether it's a good or bad thing for marketers.